Hey, what'd you do today?
Not much. I played baseball, watched TV, relaxed, had a good day. What'd you do?
Nothing. I relaxed mostly.
That's good. That's good. Hey, I read this book lately. It's called Sold by Patra McCormick.
What's it about?
It's about this girl, and she lives in a poor village in Nepal, and her parents are really poor, and she lives with her mom and her stepfather. And eventually, her stepfather sells her to this lady, and the lady tells her she's going to be a maid in India, and is going to bring home a lot of money for him. But it turns out she ends up being a sex slave, and they're all tricked. And this mistress stars her and drugs her and beats the crap out of her and just is really bad to her. And her struggles to get out of it and how hard life was for her.
The lady that wrote the book, was she a sex slave too, or what would make her write the book?
No, she wasn't. She was born in the U.S., but she was an author and she met this guy who was doing a documentary about girls in India and Nepal that were sex slaves and their lives. And so she traveled to India and Nepal and interviewed people that were sex slaves and got out of it and how it was like for them and the hardships and just how terrible it was for them.
Why would they sell her?
Well, they had to sell her because her stepfather, had a withered arm and he couldn't work very well and nobody would hire him. And the mother sold all of her belongings, like her very valuable earrings. So, and when they were tricked and they were told she was going to be a maid, and they just thought that, and they were told that she was going to be able to come home all the time and bring in enough money for them to get a tin roof, and that would make them look very wealthy in their village and very popular and happy, and life would be really good.
How did she get from Nepal to India?
Well, first off, she was really happy about the journey and getting a new opportunity to work there and just to help her family. So the lady that sold her, they walked to a wagon or a truck because she didn't know what a truck was, and they drove to the nearest train station and they hopped on a train and got to India and rode on a rickshaw. And the whole way through the whole ride, she was writing it down because when she got to come back, she wanted to be able to tell a story because nobody had ever been that far out of their village, and she wanted it to be really cool for everybody and just tell her story.
How did she get across the border?
Well, the lady that bought her from her parents sold her to this one guy who told the girl not to speak, and if anybody did ask her questions, to say that she was married to the guy, and then took her to this house, the guy did, and sold her to another lady, the mistress, that would beat her. So she was sold several times, and she never really could talk because she didn't know the language, and it was really new and really confusing to her.
Go. I don't even know what a brothel is.
It's this building where these old weird guys come and pay these girls to have sex with them.
That's gross. Like what do you think it's like living in there?
Well, it's a lot different from like how we work in America. Like they have bars on their work, like windows everywhere, and life is really bad because they get drugged and they're raped pretty much every day. And if they get pregnant, their kids have to live there, and that can cause them to get sold and split up too. And it's just really hard life and really miserable.
Did it say what her life was like?
It was really hard for them because they didn't ever really have fresh water. They had to cut their own firewood to help keep their house warm, and their roofs were made from mud and grass, and they would leak all the time during rain season. And they'd have to go out in the middle of storms and try and patch it, and usually end up making things worse. It was just a terrible life, and they didn't really have much food to eat except for rice patties and cucumbers, and it was just miserable for them all the time. And her best friend was a goat, a little baby goat. So, and she raised it and took care of it all the time before she went to school or something. It was just a really difficult life, and it never really explains what they're gonna do with the goat and if they get anything from the goat. It's just kind of there. I know it's crazy, but I actually have something in common with that girl because I'm still forced to go to school every day and sit through classes, and I can't just get up and leave and do whatever I want. I still have to go, and it's a law. And it's not as bad as being forced to have sex with somebody every day, but yet it's still a rule, and people still tell me what to do. But it's to make me better and a better person, and not just like put my life in danger every time, and like almost ruin it completely for me. And the adults in this book are just crazy because I can't imagine my parents selling me to somebody they don't even know or can trust, and how she can sell me to that person, and then that person can sell me to somebody else that just beats the tar out of you. And it's just really bad how these adults don't take care of their children and protect them and keep them from doing like dumb stuff, and make them safe and smarter, and help them raise and grow up.